Welcome back, everybody. The Modern Landing Page Design Tutorial Series, where we are learning UI UX design by creating this modern landing page for a freelance agency. So let's just continue where we left off as we finished the home section, the hero section in the previous part. And it looks like this. So check out the previous videos if you want to see how we got here. So today we're going to be doing two things. First of all, we need a trust symbol section, right? So a trust symbol is basically a section of your websites where users can see what companies or what famous brands trust your service, trust your freelancers in this case. So we're going to be making that. So first of all, let's give it a headline. Just say uh, trusted by 24 pixels. So in the previous part, we've been working with 32 pixels. So I just want to make it consistent. So let's say 32 pixels. And you can see in the overall design, it's monochromatic. We are using a single font, which is Enter, and we are using two variables of that font weights, semi-bold and regular. So this is like something that we have made uh, for the reason that we want this to be very simple. Okay, we want to learn creativity and good design principles by creating this landing page, which is modern and have some advanced, like for example, this grid section in the background here. You can see that it has some advanced features, but overall, the website's pretty basic. It's a simple website in the design. I mean, so we want to continue with that and just use a simple headline. Enter 32 pixels size, and yeah. So now we need logos of companies. What I've done is I've found monochromatic or black and white logos here. You can go over to the Figma community and search for some logos of social. You can search for that, or the easiest way would be to go over in the description down below, and I'm going to leave the Figma file here. I'm going to leave the link to the Figma file, and you can just copy it from there if you are following along. So let's just copy some brands, which the okay, let's choose the black brands. So here, let's just copy some of them. It's in Chinese for some reason. But no problem. We don't need the name here. Let's just copy the black and whites. Uh, once I'm just gonna leave this Chinese one out. Facebook, Instagram, Unsplash. Okay, let's just copy this once and come here and paste it here. You can now paste it from. Okay, now what we want to do is we want to select all of them and like give them a height of 64 pixels maybe. Okay, first let's actually get the vectors out. The reason we are doing this is to make it easier to work with when scaling. Maybe we want to edit it. Yeah, sometimes in Figma, working with icons and vector graphics could be a bit difficult. So, okay, maybe we left the frame here. Okay, so just staying with me here. Dribble, and the final one is Behance. Okay, now we have all these logos. We can just drag and select them all. Let's get this bit out of the way. And here we just want to increase them, right? We want it in a level that we think is fine. Okay, now we can select them and Shift A to make them in auto layout frame. So we can say companies. Here we want a gap of, let's say, 16 by 16. Let's increase it a bit. So gap of 16, 24 by 24, zero padding, central align them. Yeah, okay. So now let's just drag them. Let's increase the gap. Let's say maybe 32. Okay, so here, right? Uh, we can leave it like this, okay? And this just works. But what we can do is we can say with hide content, and maybe you can try to duplicate them. Okay, let's just duplicate and let's 64 pixel left. So now we have extended it, right? So we want to do the same. Let's just go here, but we want to like change the order of stuff, make it seem random. It will give it the design an illusion of depth, and it will make it look like as if we are actually having more brands. So again, here 32, let's say. Okay, so isn't it 64? Okay, it's 24. So here, let's make it 24. Okay, and here also, let's make it 24. Let's try 24. That looks good. So now this is a pretty simple section, but like when you look at a design like this, don't just look at the design as it is currently. You have to look at it like when you build it in the web, what animations can you make? Can you make this move? Can you make this more interesting? So I'm thinking that we can make, for example, we can create an animation where these logos like turn and move from they scroll from the this side to the other side. So if you want to learn how to prototype your animations like this without just coding them, just to see how they look first, I would be happy to show you that. So just comment it down below that if you want to see the actual animations done. Let's just say brands here. We rename it to brands. Trusted by brands. 32 maybe. And we have this section over here. Central align it and 96 pixels from this one, keeping it consistent. Yeah, we can actually just select a color and maybe decrease it or okay. So a cool idea here. Okay, so maybe the color is gray 800 or 600. Okay, let's create a color which is a bit lighter. Okay, let's say D1, D1. Let's say that this is our new color, which is gray. We have a gray 900, so I'm thinking 850. Let's say that this is gray 850, right? So maybe when we like hover over this, for example, if we hover over dribble, when we hover over it, we want it to be turned into black. Okay, so this is now cool. It's not like in the previous. The reason I did this is that in the previous like design here, it was like so contrasty and it didn't fit well with the overall design. The design is subtle. It is dominated by white instead of black. So here by doing this, we are keeping like the design aesthetic and consistency. Okay, we're talking about consistency here. We are keeping that and while making the design look better and while giving ourselves a chance to create interesting animations. For example, when you hover over this, it is very simple, like to predict that this will become now black when you hover over it. So I like that. So let's continue, right? Okay. Uh, First um, section. Let's just say like that. Let's move it down. Actually, let's just fix the layers navbar on the top. Yeah. So now following that, we want to create another section. Now this section, let's just okay. Let's just write it here. This section is meant to show like some more details of the of the service of the website of the agency. Maybe you can say. So you can say providing. So it's just first of all we want like a tagline to take the user's attention, right? We can say providing quality services for over 12 years. Maybe the company has been around for a long time. So 32 pixels again, since we are using here too. Uh, okay, we can say that and we can make it smaller. Or maybe considering this just trust section, we can make this a bit bigger. Maybe central line it and how maybe smaller. Okay, 48. Okay, that seems good. And we can give it like sub a subheader. We can say uh, what is actually the name? I forgot. So client finder. Okay, sorry. Client finder, which is actually fake. So finder is has been around. Okay, has been around for over 12 years, providing quality digital services for hundreds. So let's just move it. Hundreds of brands. Full stop, and we can just make it. We can now reduce it to 40 pixels, which is the default we've been using throughout the website. And let's make it regular, and let's reduce the width. Okay, here. Now we've been using a color gray 600, right, for text. If I'm not mistaken, right, gray 600, or is it gray? Yeah, it's gray 600. So let's make this the black, right? It's the same thing, but it's good to be consistent. So now we have this section, and I want to introduce you to a very popular trend currently in the web design sphere, which is bento grids, 24 pixels, by the way. So bento grids are just informative, so boxes of information, uh, which are laid out in a form of a grid, and they are becoming more and more popular as it is they are a good way of displaying many information about your brand in a tight space. For example, in this single section, we're going to be showing like many statistics. Okay, now creating a bender grid is one of the hardest things in web design. Okay, like it's not very simple. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be laying out the actual structure of the grid uh, and what it will look like in this episode and in the next episode or part. We're going to be making the actual bed grid and laying out the content. So again, we did this in the hero section where we just put a square at the place of like this images to like visualize it. So we're going to be doing the same here. Okay, let's just drag out a square. Okay, drag out a square. Let's give it like some corner radius 16 pixels. So for example, if we say that this is like our area for bento grids, we have to utilize this area with carefully, okay? So we can select this box. Okay, we can maybe duplicate this, put it here. Maybe you can put this here, here. Okay, maybe a short one here. Duplicate it. Duplicate this one. Okay, so now this will be our bento grid. Now, I'm not saying that this will be the structure of the bento grid. It's just a good way to visualize it and see how well it works with the actual design. So, for example, I think this is like this is a bit too big. So you might just choose to select them all, increase their heights, and maybe decrease their widths. Okay, this looks good. This looks good. Maybe like this. Maybe like this we would have it doubled here. Shorter one here. So we can now go ahead and just Shift A. And it's a bit messy, but let's try to fix it. 16 pixels by 16 pixels. Okay, now let's ungroup it. And you'll see the reason I did this. Now all of them have a 16 pixel spacing between them. We can select these and 60 pixels. Great. So you can just collect them all. Control G to group them. Let's say bento grid. So now we have bento grid, and as we did in the hero section, we can say temp for temporary. It's just like a placeholder. So we have the header and a bento grid. Central align it, 64 pixels. Up here, maybe this should be like 96 pixels. So that's be 96 pixels. Okay, let's put it here for today, and let's end it here, okay? So let's say like this is where we stop today. So let's recap a bit before we finish off. So before today, we have completed the hero section, which is this part over here, which is where we are like introducing the user to our brand. And today we worked on that first symbol section, which is like telling people what companies, what brands use our service and are satisfied and like it. That we have created Bento Grid system for providing like more information about our brand. And it's a placeholder, and we're going to be working more on it in the next upcoming videos. Also, we have discussed about consistency, right? We have talked about how one section of your design should fit well with the other. So we have made this like it was completely black, and this looked awful, as it did not like really work with the contrast level of our website, which was dominated by white. But by just making them more white and focusing, adding interactions here, we have made our design much better. And we're going to be continuing with the same ideology into our bento page and following websites, following like sections. So again, I'm going to be leaving the link to this Figma file in the description. So if you're interested or if you want to check it out, maybe you want the images, feel free. to grab it, duplicate it, and work on it, modify it as you want. Hope you enjoyed today's episode. Thanks for watching. Until the next time, goodbye.